Hello and welcome to the instructional video on how to give the Beery Visual Motor Integration Assessment. This is an occupational therapy assessment. It can be given by a teacher, an OT, or an aide if they've had the proper training. Usually the proper training is one class, or an OT can actually teach the teacher or the aide to give this type of assessment. The following things will be needed for this assessment: a timer, a number 2 pencil, and the 3 test booklets. The first one is the Beery VMI, which is the Visual Motor Integration Test. On the first one, on the first page, you flip to the back, and this is where you are to imitate a scribble, and the child is to imitate the exact same scribble. Now for questions 1 through 6, on the Beery VMI, it's they either imitate your scribble or they spontaneously scribble. So 1 through 3 are on the back, 4, 5, and 6 are on the inside of the booklet. On question 7, the children begin to copy the pictures. They will copy the straight line going vertically, or the line going horizontally, and the circle. Then they will copy the cross, the diagonal line, and the square. And they'll copy another diagonal line, the X, and the triangle. Some children may have difficulties doing this, but they will try, and you will try and make an attempt. They get 1 attempt at every question. Okay, then you have a more advanced shape for them to try, another advanced shape for them to try, and a 4-way stop or a cross with 4 arrows on it. Then you have more advanced shapes as well, or more advanced things to copy if they get this far. These are circles in a rectangle. These are little dots, and that's a circle with a square on its side. Now once they've finished this, you have a little scoring chart on the inside of the front cover on the Beery VMI. After they've done with this, the Beery VMI, you can move on to one of the subsets. They have to do the Beery VMI first, and then we can move on to one of the other subsets. So for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to move on to motor coordination. As you see on the front here, all the test booklets have the name, the sex, the school, the grade, the examiner, the test date, the birth date, and the chronological age. The chronological age includes the months. The motor coordination test is the first 3 on the motor coordination test are: can a child climb into and sit in an adult chair without help? The second one holds pencil with thumb and fingertips, need not just 2 fingertips. Holds paper with one hand and scribbles and draws with the other. Then when you get to 4, question number 4, they have to imitate. So 4A would be like your line, 4B would be their line, 5A would be your line, 5B would be the student's line, 6A would be the test giver's circle, 6B would be the student's circle. And at number 7, you start timing here, because the child is doing it individually on their own. So at number 7 you have vertical line, at number 8 you have a horizontal line, at number 9 a circle, at number 10 a cross, at number 11 you have a diagonal line, at number 12 you have a square, number 13 you have another diagonal line in a different direction, number 14 is an X, number 15 is a triangle, and number 16 is what looks to be like a horseshoe on a circle. So they are timed from question number 7 to number 16 on the motor coordination test, and then they are also timed from 17 all the way to 30. As you can see, the shapes get more and more difficult as time goes on. You're not to skip any questions on any of these or any of the numbers. You're also not to allow the student to erase on anything. The final subset, or the second subset, of the Beery VMI, Visual Motor Integration, the Visual Perception Test. Once again, on the front cover you have the name, the sex, the school, the grade, the examiner, the test date, the birth date, and the chronological age. For the first three questions on this are for children, because this can be given to an adult too. Points to one body part on oneself when asked. So you will ask the child to point to his eye, point to their eye, point to their hair, point to their ear. The second item, child points to at least 2 of 3 outline pictures: cat, dog, or pig. The third item points to 6 of 8 picture body parts when asked: hair, nose, ear, foot, mouth, hand, tummy, or eye. For an adult to get credit on this, they have to answer 4 correctly. 1 through 3 are basically for all children, but they do have to answer. You do have to ask question number 4 as well. Okay. Then you move on to number 4, 5, and 6. The visual perception is matching or circling the correct one. So 4 is a vertical line, so they will circle the line that they see is correct. 5 is a horizontal line, so that once again the student will then look at the line and circle which one they think is correct. 6 is a circle, and they will circle the one they think is correct. And this one they have a big circle and a little circle. And on number 7, once again, you start timing. For the use of this purpose, you can use your stopwatch, a timer, a digital timer, or a phone timer as well. On number 7, you start timing. You go 7, 8, 9, and you open it up, and you go 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And you continue to the next page, and you got 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and all the way to 30. And as you can see, the shapes get more advanced and more complicated as we go on to number 30. Now, with the Beery VMI, it's a very simple test to give. However, you will need to remember with the scores, you get raw scores, standard scores, scaled scores, percentiles, and other scaling. What the Beery VMI does, it tests, it assesses the visual motor integration of each student, and then with the visual perception, it will help with that as well, and so will the motor coordination. You only have to give the Beery VMI, and then if you see if the child is struggling, you can give the other 2, but you have to give the Beery VMI first at all times. And you know, the Beery VMI first at all times, and then once you finish the subsets, you go and you score it, and then you can make your assessment and your goals based off that assessment. This will be the end of how you give the Beery VMI. Have a wonderful day.